What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So, been off the last few days. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs. Going back to Tuesday, game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. An incredible comeback by the New York Knicks to defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers 115 to 104. Overall, the Knicks outscored the Cavaliers in the fourth quarter in overtime by a score of 46-21, including, I think it was 44-11 from about the 7:22 mark on. Knicks at one point in the fourth quarter went on a 26-8 run. They were down 14 going into the fourth quarter. They were down 22 at one point in the fourth quarter. They come all the way back. Jalen Brunson with 38 points and 6 assists in the game. Knicks played a brutal first three, almost in the half quarters. They were 2 of 19 from three in the first half with 8 turnovers. Even the Cavs didn't play well in the first half. They had 11 turnovers themselves in the first half. Strong performance from Donovan Mitchell, 29 points. He did struggle a little bit down the stretch. Harden, really rough game. Typical playoff Harden. Just 15 points on 5 of 16 shooting. Just 1 of 8 from 3. Only moment he really had was that turnaround jumper late in the fourth quarter, about 30 seconds left. That put the Cavs up by 2 at the time. Brunson tied it on the ensuing possession, and then the score held from there as went to overtime. But Evan Mobley, 6 of 16, 2 of 8 from the field, from 3 rather, 15 points. So didn't get a whole lot from really anybody. Sam Brown made a couple of threes early after that. Couldn't really buy one. Struess was only 2 of 6. Dennis Schroeder was horrendous. Was 1 of 9 in 18 minutes played off the bench. So the Knicks, insane comeback. Absolutely crazy. Where was the rust wearing off, or just something clicked? The Cavs fell apart. I don't know. By the way, Kenny Atkinson. I like Kenny Atkinson. He went actually to the same high school that I did. He's a local New York guy. I do think he's a very good NBA coach. I think he's a very solid coach. I think he's done a good job this year with Cleveland. I think he's done a great job in this postseason. How are you not calling a timeout in that run? You got out for what, 26-8, whatever it was, over like a 7-minute period or something in the fourth quarter. How are you not calling one timeout? At least try to make an adjustment and re-energize the guys and light a fire under them, or just stop the Knicks momentum. They finally got momentum, call timeout, and stall them. Like when it got to 10 or 12, call timeout and be like, guys, this basketball game isn't over. We still got, 4 or 5 minutes left, whatever it was. We got to go out there and finish this basketball game. And he didn't do that. And I'm not saying it's the main reason that they lost, because out there didn't do a good enough job, but you got to try, right? Come on. You're an NBA head coach, for crying out loud. But anyway, Western Conference Finals, game 2. Thunder beat the Spurs 122 to 113. 30 and 9 assists from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 21, 17, and 6 in the loss. Victor Wembanyama. No De'Aaron Fox once again for the Spurs. Jordan Harper gets hurt in this game. So we'll see if he plays in game 3. Stephon Castle had 25. 10 of 17 shooting. Was only 1 of 6 from 3. And he had 9 turnovers in the game. So he had a really tough time. 9 turnovers. So wasn't all great. Comes to Stephon Castle. Nothing but sell. 22 points, 7 to 14 shooting in the loss. So Thunder get one back. They do lose Jalen Williams once again. He only played 7 minutes. He hurt his hamstring. Probably is not going to play in game 3. They got here without him. He did miss a lot of time in the regular season. He has not played for the most part in the postseason. Didn't play at all, I believe, in the Lakers series. But this is by far the best thing they've obviously seen all postseason. So, but I don't. That could mean maybe make more of a difference. But he's probably not going to play, from what I've heard, in the next game against the San Antonio Spurs. But I saw Alex Caruso. In the loss in game 1, he had, I think, 30 or 31, had like 7 or 8 threes. He had 17 more off the bench, 5 of 7 shooting, 3 or 4 from 3. He's might be one of the 5 most underrated players in basketball. He is so good. Great defender. He can shoot the basketball really well. Just a really good hard-nosed player. Yeah, he's so good. He's a fantastic player. And in game 2, between the ECF, Knicks, and Cavs, was last night. Knicks win 109-93. This was back and forth for most of the first half. At one point in the third quarter, they scored an 18-0 run, which carries them to a victory. Playoff career high 26 points from Josh Hart, along with 7 assists in that one. He already steps up for his buddy Jalen Brunson, who didn't have the best game. 19 more than 7 of 16 shooting, only 1 of 7 from three. Mikal Bridges continues to play some good basketball. Those first three games against Atlanta, he looked really bad. He's played very well in this postseason. Other than that, his first two with the Knicks have been pretty much like identical. He was very mediocre in the regular season. Saw the postseason was really bad. People wanted him off the team, and then all of a sudden, the back half of the postseason run last year, he was actually very good. Kind of same thing this year. Last night was 19 points, 9 of 12 shooting. Cat had a better game, 18 of 13, 7 out of 12 for him. So Knicks get the job done. Donovan Mitchell had 26 in the loss. Rough first half for him, much better second half. But James Harden, 6 of 15, 18 points. Another not so great game from him. Again, Max Strus 1 of 7 from the field. Samir was 1 of 8, 0 of 7 from 3. Cavs were just 9 of 25 from 3, just 26%. For the Knicks, honestly, didn't work great from 3 either. They shot 13 of 36, which is 36%, which is not even league average in the NBA. The Knicks go up 2-0. That was a big win. If you lost that game, you would have lost all the momentum you had from the end of the last game. Big win for the Knicks. Game 2 is always going to be big because we knew game 1 was either going to be Knicks were going to find a way to win it, and now you want to keep the momentum, or you were going to lose it because you were rusty, and then you have to win game 2 because you couldn't go down 0-2. And the being flips up, they're up 2-0 going back to Cleveland. New York Knicks get the job done, finish this off, put your foot down, and make sure to finish off the Cleveland Cavaliers. And tonight at 8:30 on NBC, Thunder and Spurs game 3 of the series shifts to San Antonio. Got some head coach searches that are going on right now in the NBA. First off, the Dallas Mavericks have fired Jason Kidd. They move on from Jason Kidd. Of course, Masai Ujiri, very well-known NBA executive, just took over as the team president. Of course, they fired Nico Harrison earlier on in the season. We all know why. Kidd, I don't think deserves to get fired, but I think it makes sense. Ujiri coming in doesn't want to pick his own guy. Masai Ujiri is the team president. He's also the alternate governor. Jason Kidd has had power struggles basically everywhere he's gone as a coach. He always wants to have some sort of basketball operations power wherever he's gone as a coach. I could see them butting heads. I think it probably wasn't a fit in terms of a coach and president tandem, though. He should get another job. In his first year in 2022, he won 52 games and went to the Western Conference Finals. Following year in 2023, had a lot of injuries. Ends up missing the postseason at 38-44. 2024, had that great year, 50 wins. Luka has that crazy playoff run. They go to the NBA Finals. Then the Luka trade happens. Last year, they end up missing the playoffs entirely, losing the play-in at 39-43. It's a brutal year this year. Cooper Flagg wins Rookie of the Year, but Kyrie doesn't play. AD gets hurt. Mitchell gets traded. A lot of other guys were hurt. You end up going just 26-56 and missing the postseason and playing outright. You were really bad pretty much all season. Overall was 388 and 395 in 5 years in. That's his overall career record. 388 and 395 for his overall career. He's a decent coach. Cons are he wants power everywhere that he's went. I do think he has a ceiling as a coach, but he's a good coach. Pros are, he's a solid coach. He's been to the finals before, obviously was one of the greatest point guards in the history of the NBA as a player. So, he can be a really good mentor for a lot of young players, especially if you are a young guard. I'm sure he was some sort of impact on Luka Doncic, to an extent. I am sure. But he's out in Dallas. For maybe Sean Sweeney could get a promotion. Maybe Micah Nori, top assistant in Minnesota, who's been a hot candidate for a couple of years now. We'll see what happens. But Jason Kidd is out in Dallas. As for the Orlando job, Billy Donovan, the former Bulls head coach, was recently fired, appears to be a candidate. I don't really get what some of these teams see in Billy Donovan. They're a very good college coach, was great at Florida, obviously was considering the UNC job before Mike Malone took it, even before he made his decision with the Bulls, their season was still going on. To me, he's a mediocre NBA coach. He's not the worst, but is far from the best. He was okay at Oklahoma City, had one really good year, and that wasn't very good. Chicago had one or two decent years, and that wasn't, I think, they did a great job. And looks like he's a favorite in Orlando. Jeff Van Gundy is a candidate. He was coach for the New York Knicks about 20-ish years ago was the last time he was doing that. Was a very good coach in the NBA. He's currently an assistant with the Los Angeles Clippers. He's a candidate for that job. There was rumors that Tom Thibodeau could be a candidate. He's no longer a candidate. I'm not sure if he ever was, to be honest. In Portland, Jeff Van Gundy is also a finalist for that job, as is Utah assistant coach Mike Williams, Boston assistant Tyler Lashbrook, as well as Golden State assistant coach Jerry Stackhouse is being brought in. He was a player for a while in the NBA, coach in the G League for a while, and had a lot of success there. He's been an assistant in the NBA for a while. Tiago Square, their interim head coach, apparently is in the running and kind of in the background. And Micah Nori is also in the conversation, apparently, as well. Now let's go over the NBA rookie teams. The rookie teams were announced. The first team, Cooper Flagg, Colin Knapp, VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper, and Cedric Coward. All second team was Ace Bailey, Jeremiah Fears, Colin Murray Boyles, Maxime Reynaud from Sacramento, and Derek Queen. I don't think there's a single surprise on that list. I think they got that correct. Those are the NBA rookie teams in the NBA. Before I get to the football, let's talk a little bit of hockey. Some head coaching news. Of course, conference finals are going on. Montreal took game one from Carolina last night. First loss for Carolina in the postseason. Vegas up 2-0 on Colorado. Colorado, who's looked unbeatable all year, is down 0-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights, who brought in John Tortorella to be their head coach a week before the postseason started. Crazy. But especially since Torts takes a lot of time to get used to usually. But anyway, Canucks have fired at him after a year. He was only there a year. Not a very good situation, but they're completely redoing their front office. The GM has already been fired. The president of hockey operations, Jim Rutherford, taking a different role, so he's out as well. So Adam put it out. It makes sense. You might as well go in a different direction completely. You traded JT Miller 2 years ago. I think Elias Patterson could get dealt in the offseason. We'll see if a guy like Brock Besser or Quinn Hughes could be on the table. They had a horrific year, one of the worst years in recent memory. They got 58 points, so yeah, it's time for a change. The Sabres extend Lindy Ruff a multi-year deal. He's a Jack Adams finalist. He took them to the conference semifinals. Full circle moment. He was there all those years ago, and they had those great teams with Ryan Miller and company. Ever since he left, they've not even been to the postseason for 15 years in a row. He comes back, and he's got them right back in the postseason. And they won a playoff series against Boston and took Montreal to Game 7 in the conference semifinal. That's a really good young team. It's going to be good for a very long time. If they can figure it out at the goalie spot, where Ukko-Pekka Lehkonen is that guy or it's somebody else, that's a team that will win at some point. And Sheldon Keefe is going to come back in New Jersey. Again, he deserves to come back for sure. He was only there for 2 seasons. A rough year this year. But a lot of people thought that once Tom Fitzgerald got fired on, I think it was April 6th, he got let go. It was definitely early on in April. They would take the coach as well, but no, he's going to come back in New Jersey. Let's talk some football. First thing I got to talk about, Rashee Rice has done it again. He has violated his probation for the hit and run crazy incident that he had last year. For testing positive for weed, he's going to get 30 days in jail again, meaning he will miss OTAs and mandatory minicamp. He also just had knee surgery, which is a 2-month recovery, and he can't get the proper conditioning and medical help that he needs because he's going to be in jail. Oh boy. Rashee Rice is the stupidest NFL player maybe ever. I know there's a lot of stupid NFL wide receivers, from Tyreek Hill to Hollywood Brown, to Jordan Addison. I could do this for 10 more minutes. At least all those guys got paid. At least Tyreek Hill was a top 5 receiver in the NFL and he got paid. I'm not saying what he did is right. Tyreek Hill is a complete piece of garbage. But from a brain standpoint, they got paid before they started getting into trouble. Okay, Rashee Rice hasn't even gotten paid yet. You think his contract is ending after the year? The Chiefs should just cut him. I'm sorry, he's not worth the headache. He's their best receiver because that receiving core is still a little bit light. But, he's not worth the headache. We've seen Patrick Mahomes take Worst receiver course than he has this year to the Super Bowl. Now, that was a few years ago when he was a little bit younger, a little bit healthier. Can he do that at 30 or 31, whatever he is now? I don't know. He's still Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day, and he isn't old by any means. But he's not worth the headache. You cannot put significant resources and money into Rashee Rice. He's just a complete idiot, just doesn't get it for whatever reason. This is not going to stop. He gets spent games last year, six weeks last year. NFL should make a statement, say you're suspended for the whole season. You can apply for reinstatement the new league year next year. You have to jump through a couple of hoops, like you got to be clean, sober, full year. You have to check in with your probation officer. You got to check in with us. Every single week, every single month. Completely clean. You got to go to therapy. Got to do this. Got to do that. And maybe you can get reinstated next year, but the NFL cannot allow this guy to still be in the league. This is absolutely ridiculous. And Nolan Smith, Eagles edge rusher also got arrested for drawing twice the limit in Georgia. What is with these Georgia football players and being the stupidest people on the planet? It cannot be this hard to not break the law, not be a criminal, and just not be a buffoon. Don't do crimes. Just because you have all this money and you're famous and you're good at sport does not mean you can commit every crime on the planet and you can drive 120, 150 miles an hour. Like, there are cars that don't even go that fast. Why are you driving that fast? You're going to kill somebody, including possibly yourself. Stop doing this. There needs to be more repercussions for these athletes. Just horrible, 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 horrible. Anyways, let's move on to a lighter note before we end the show here. Lions are extending Jack Campbell 4 years, $81 million. Pro Bowl linebacker for the Detroit Lions, $51.5 million guaranteed. Campbell's a very good linebacker from our first round pick in 2023. Part of that renowned class where they took players at weird spots. Everyone didn't like it. Ended up being a great class. With Jahmyr Gibbs going 12th and Jack Campbell going 18th. They got Sin Laporta and Brian Branch in that class as well. You had Jack Campbell, had a great year this year. First team All-Pro, actually, had 176 tackles, 4 pass touchdowns, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 5 sacks. He's developed into one of the best inside linebackers in all of football, and he's locked down to a big deal by the Detroit Lions. And to finish off, Matthew Stafford gets extended for a year. He'll make $55 up to $60 million in 2027. Now, that's a lot of money for a guy who's going to be, 39 years of age. Stafford did just win an MVP and is still one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Had them in the AFC Championship game this year, and they could have a similar long playoff run again this year. Giants extend Joe Shane, multi-year deal. I mean, Shane's not the worst GM in the NFL, but he certainly isn't the best. He's a mediocre general manager at best. I don't love it. From what I've heard, he basically isn't the GM anymore. John Harbaugh is not reporting to him. He's reporting to Joe Shane. I heard he's had his role diminished. So it's a very confusing situation. The draft last year, I think he did a really good job. It looks like he nailed the potential franchise quarterback in Jackson Dart. We'll see what happens this year with John Harbaugh. He was able to go out and get Abdul Carr third overall, who Sherman as a rookie, I do think will come into his own and probably got this year under John Harbaugh. Draft before that, adding Malik Neighbors at the 5th pick was a great pick. Great rookie year. Was hurt last year, obviously, but going to be a great receiver. Already is a really good receiver. Even Cam Scatterman, who I don't think is this. I know he's funny and a great guy. I don't think he's an all-pro level back like you'll pretend that he is, but he is a good running back, at least on a part-time basis. I do think that was a good pick. To get him in the 4th round is a really good value. Just obviously a lot of stuff he's definitely not done a good job with. The handling of a Saquon Barkley thing, just to pay Daniel Jones all that money. Like Xavier McKinney walk. Some of the things he's done with the offensive line. He's definitely made a lot of mistakes. Sure, Deontay Banks was a complete whiff. But in the offseason, I'm not sure if it was even him doing it, but whatever his role was in, bringing in some of the pieces that he brought in this offseason, I think he did a good job in the draft. Getting Alvarez at 5. I like the Mawai pick at 10. I think he'll be a really good offensive guard in the NFL. Overall, I like their draft. I like them taking Malachi Fields in the third round, taking a flyer on him and Notre Dame, the wide receiver. So even signing guys like Darnell Mooney and Greg Newsome and some of the other moves that they made, I think were solid pieces to bring in. Not sure how good the Giants will be this year. I'll do it in my NFL preview, which will be not for a little bit, probably. Probably gonna wait till later on in the summer, maybe after camp ends, but it's coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled. But Giants extend Joe Shane. And Aaron Rodgers has announced that he's going to retire after the season. Heard before, he didn't come out and say it as bluntly as he did this year, but he said that was his plan, basically, for last year. Look what happened. You never know with this guy. He could have been on the who knows what drugs he was on when he said this. He could be saying to gaslight people and to just be a diva, but I do believe this will be his last year. It should be, because I don't know what the guy's going to have left after this year. That's all I got for you guys today. Have a great weekend. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.